Hi, guys. It's very nice to meet both of you.
Great pleasure.
Yes, my friend. How you doing, Chris?
I'm a big fan. I've been watching Animaniacs since I was a kid. The Animaniacs theme or the Pinky and the Brain theme, which one do you have a harder time getting out of your head?
Oh, well, neither of them are allowed out of my head. And in fact, I think had I not had the privilege of having Pinky and Yakko in my cabeza for the last 30 odd years, I probably would have gone stark raving mad. So I don't want them to leave.
I feel like they both rotate. Like for the last 30 years, they just rotate in and out of my brain as soon as I try to go to sleep.
Good.
Yeah, I have the added disadvantage of having the Pinky and the Brain themes in terms of getting it out of my head. The Pinky and the Brain theme song is actually programmed into. I have a Disclavier piano, and it has a disc of Warner Brothers music. Yeah, so
cool.
Every now and again, so it plays in many ways in my head, including live.
Now, I saw some of the third season, but I haven't seen all of it. Will Pinky and Brain actually take over the world, or will it never happen because of the theory that Pinky is actually the genius thwarting Brain? Is that theory legit?
Well, I don't know if that's a legit theory in terms of the mythos of the show. I'll tell you, in real life, it's Rob Paulsen who's the genius, and I'm insane.
Yeah, exactly right.
But if Brain succeeds in taking over the world, then show over. And even though this is our third and final season, that's not to say that there's not. I'm on another Hulu show that'll premiere later this summer, Futurama. We're on our fourth reboot.
Yeah.
So that's not to say the show's staying down. We're just taking a little rest. And who knows if we'll see these guys again. Yeah. I, for one, would love to see a Pinky and the Brain motion picture. Yeah. I mean, I was
literally going to ask that. I was going to say, is there any chance that this final season is just to make way for a full-blown star-studded Animaniacs?
Well, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? We don't know at this point, but we do know that we're grateful to have the chance to make 36 new episodes over 3 years. And give people back their childhoods with, thank goodness, our original voices. Mm-hmm. We've all stayed in good voice over the years, but I think that's really and Stephen, he had the right idea. If you're going to give people back their childhoods, don't make them try to listen to a new voice. And so his first insistence was that we come back, and we're very, very honored and glad of that because, this show holds up. It's got its own identity as a product of its time, but absolutely, it's just great to have done these 3 seasons. We're so grateful.
And not everything gets to come back the way that Animaniacs or Futurama has. And so I was curious, are there any other characters that you guys each voice that you would most want to see revived?
I did a character years ago on a show called Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius named Carl, and I would love that to come back because if I don't, I have no outlet for all this anger. I'd like to have Carl come back.
That sounds great.
Regardless of what I just said, and hoping that there's some other form we can meet Pinky and the Brain again. I've always been lobbying for a reboot of The Critic from the 1990s in some way or another. I'd love to play all those characters again. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm not even in it. It was a spectacular show.
Al Jean and Mike Reese would have to be free. And of course, that means Simpsons is going on for another 2 or 3 seasons. So it's a ways off.
Well, now that we're 3 seasons into Animaniacs, what would you say is the biggest difference between the show in the 90s versus the modern day revival?
I think Mo has touched on this a number of times over the last few years in interviews, and that is that the Animaniacs are very self-aware. Pinky and the Brain are aware that it's been a chunk of time, and the writers are so sharp, and they really are able to thread that needle between keeping the wackiness and the vibe of the original Animaniacs that made them stick, in your heart and your brain, Chris.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that and update it with the appropriate zeitgeist references is quite a trick.
Yeah, they were smart enough to ask themselves, okay, if they were trying to take over the world and it's been 27 years and they still haven't, what would Brain's attitude be? And he's a much crankier Brain,
pissed off,
in this new iteration. And so they honored that, and they wrote the show that way, and we're playing it that way. So it's got a bit more edge to it.
I love it, guys. This was such an honor getting to talk to both of you. Just one last quick question: what are you guys getting into tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Chris. Trying to take over the world.
Nerf.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great rest of your day. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.